numerous coaches, black coaches, called me expressing how they took issue with that podcast taking place. And I think you know enough to know that that's true. Some of them felt very salty about that. We certainly are not blaming JJ Redick. You got your podcast. Maverick Carter approaches you about doing this idea. Who the hell would? I jump at the opportunity.
Wait, can I pause you on that? They were salty because he chose to do a podcast with a white guy, or because it hurt Darvin Ham?
Because it hurt Darvin
Got it.
Ham.
Okay.
Because it hurt Darvin Ham. So any of us would do a podcast with LeBron James. Anybody who says otherwise, that they wouldn't do a podcast with LeBron James, is lying through their damn teeth. I know I would. I know you would. I know Wendy would. I know anybody would. That would be an honor for us because he's one of the greatest who have ever played, and he's a basketball savant.
Oh, Stephen A. Oh, man. Stephen A. Smith strikes again with his lies. Just incredible. Stephen A. Smith is really a tool man that knows very little about basketball. Just wow. This is Sports Guy Talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Stephen A. Smith taking issue with LeBron James liking JJ Redick to become his next head coach on the Lakers. JJ Redick being hired by the Lakers is currently the worst kept secret in the basketball world right now, and Stephen A. Smith is currently taking issue with that. However, Stephen A. Smith decided to trash LeBron James from a unique perspective as he complained that black coaches in the NBA had a problem with LeBron James doing a podcast with JJ Redick. Before I say anything else, though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So here it is. Do you agree with Stephen A. Smith's take on LeBron James and JJ Redick? Honestly, I don't. I think the take of Stephen A. Smith is severely flawed. Although I agree that LeBron James deserves criticism for how he has handled this coaching cycle, I believe Stephen A. Smith looked at it from the wrong perspective entirely. He says that LeBron James started a podcast in order to undermine Darvin Ham and get him fired from the Lakers, but I don't agree for why the podcast started. I think LeBron James started a podcast with JJ Redick because he wanted to brainwash younger sports fans into thinking that he is the GOAT, while Michael Jordan is an overrated basketball player that played in the weak 90s. Obviously, you look at how a lot of sports fans, they don't really rely on mainstream media anymore to get their news feed. Now they're relying on podcasters and YouTubers to give them accurate information that is happening around the sports world. And obviously, we know that a lot of people in the mainstream media lie. Stephen A. Smith is literally the face of mainstream media guys lying to the public. You look at how Stephen A. Smith once lied that he made 17 straight threes in a high school scrimmage and that he was offered a scholarship right on the spot after hitting 17 straight threes in a high school scrimmage. Trust me, if that story was actually true, that means Stephen A. Smith would have gotten every single Division I offer, because you look at how he did that in the 1980s, a time period where very few players were shooting threes to even begin with. And trust me, if Stephen A. Smith had that kind of talent, he would have played in the National Basketball Association. And this guy is out there telling people that he hit 17 straight threes in a game, and he fully expects people to believe his lies. But obviously, people didn't believe in his lies. But that's who Stephen A. Smith is. We all know that Stephen A. Smith is a pathological liar. And once again, he is pathologically lying about why LeBron James started a podcast. This guy is tying in to racism as to why LeBron James started a podcast. Race has nothing to do with the matter. Darvin Ham wasn't fired by the Los Angeles Lakers because he was black. He was fired by the Los Angeles Lakers because LeBron James needed a scapegoat on the Lakers, and Darvin Ham was an easy target to use for the Lakers because he was a first-time head coach. You had all these LeBron James fanboys talk about, oh, the Lakers, they need experience at the head coach position. Now they're going to go ahead and hire JJ Redick, who has even less experience than Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham was a longtime assistant on the Milwaukee Bucks, and he was an NBA champion as an assistant head coach. He had plenty of experience. Yeah, he didn't have experience as a head coach, but he had experience as an assistant coach. And obviously, he did a pretty good job developing those Bucks players, and he did help the Bucks win a title in 2021. And obviously, Darvin Ham, he takes the Lakers to the Western Conference Finals in year one, and all of a sudden, because they lose to the Denver Nuggets 2 years in a row in the playoffs, now he gets the pink slip. Now he gets fired. Of course, LeBron James is behind this. LeBron James has done that his entire career. That's why I call LeBron James a coach killer, because that is exactly what he does. All he does is kill coaches' career. That's what he did good with Mike Brown in Cleveland. That's why it took Mike Brown a long time to get another head coaching job, even though Mike Brown was one of the best coaches in the NBA at that time. He tried to get Eric Spoelstra fired in Miami. Obviously, Pat Riley, he told LeBron James to go ahead and kick rocks. And obviously, Pat Riley was proven right because Eric Spoelstra is one of the best coaches in the NBA right now. And then he got David Blatt fired, even though he took the Cavs to the finals in his first year. And then, of course, he basically let Ty Lue baby the entire team. You look at how Ty Lue basically just followed whatever LeBron told him to go do. And then LeBron James, he eventually leaves Cleveland high and dry the second time. And then you look at how LeBron James, he gets Lou Walton fired because that wasn't his initial guy. He gets Frank Vogel fired, even though he won a championship in his first year as a head coach. And now he got Darvin Ham fired. Look, LeBron James didn't start a podcast with JJ Redick because he wanted to get Darvin Ham fired. He could have done that on his own time. LeBron James has been getting people fired long before he started a podcast. Like I've said, the reason why he did a podcast with JJ Redick was so he could brainwash younger sports fans on how he is the GOAT and how Michael Jordan is an overrated basketball player in the 90s. I know the description of the show says they don't talk about narratives, but I've actually watched the show. I've actually watched their podcast because I wanted to see what they were talking about, and their show is nothing but narratives all show long, and they go ahead and tell lies about LeBron James' NBA career. They talked about LeBron James never played on a super team in his entire career, which I know is a damn lie to begin with. You look at the Miami Heat team in 2011, that was a super team. If the big three of LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh isn't a super team, then I don't know what a super team could be defined as. The term super team was created because LeBron James jumped ship to Miami and tried to form a super team with Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and himself. And then he had to go out there and basically say that the Miami Heat lost the 2011 NBA Finals because he didn't have enough help on the bench. Man, give me a break. And JJ Redick's just sitting up there drinking his wine, acting like nothing has happened. And obviously, that's the purpose of the podcast, is so he can basically tell younger sports fans that he never had enough help in his career, that he always had worse teams around him, and that he is essentially the GOAT, even though he's 4-6 in the finals, and that Michael Jordan is clearly the better basketball player when you compare him to LeBron James. LeBron James is not even top 2 all time in my book. That's the real reason why he started the podcast. But I want to go ahead and talk about Stephen A. Smith blasting LeBron James for liking JJ Redick. Look, it's not a crime for LeBron James to like JJ Redick as a head coaching candidate. I actually like JJ Redick somewhat myself, although I don't like JJ Redick in this situation because I don't think JJ Redick is ready to lead the Lakers to being title contenders. I think JJ Redick would have been better off if he became a head coach on a young squad, a team like the Hornets where they're in rebuilding stage and where they can let a young coach grow with this team around him. Obviously, if LeBron James wants you as a head coach, he doesn't want you to grow with the team. He wants you to immediately be used as the scapegoat when things go wrong, and when things go right, you get zero credit whatsoever. Obviously, you look at how JJ Redick has zero credibility in this situation because he has been bought and paid for by Clutch Sports. You look at how 2 years ago, JJ Redick used to say Michael Jordan was the GOAT. Now he's backpedaling and saying that Michael Jordan was a vastly overrated player. He has been doing nothing but disrespecting old generations of basketball players. That's why he was calling Jerry West overrated. That's why he was disrespecting the Bill Russell era. And that's what all these LeBron fanboys do. All they just do is tell lies about the past. And you look at how they will do anything they can to manipulate false narratives, and then they're going to try to brainwash younger sports fans with that. That's the purpose of the podcast. The purpose of the podcast was so they could go get younger sports fans to get brainwashed by LeBron James, and basically LeBron James can go ahead and tell from his mouth that he never had enough help. He always needed super teams around him, even though don't say the term super team because I never had a super team my entire career. When things go wrong, quit on my team, fire the coach, blame the players around me, and obviously never take any responsibility. LeBron James is the kind of superstar that would rather lose while putting up great statistics than winning and sacrificing statistics for the betterment of his team. He's like the anti-Jason Tatum in that regard. If he had the mentality of Jason Tatum while having the physical talents that he actually has, he might have actually became the GOAT. But obviously LeBron James, he doesn't have that in his system whatsoever. We all know LeBron James is an egomaniac, and his egomaniacness is why they're going to hire JJ Redick. I mean, at this point, it seems like JJ Redick, he's going to get hired by the Los Angeles Lakers. And obviously LeBron James wanted Darvin Ham to get fired so he can go hire his boy JJ Redick. And obviously he also wants the Lakers to draft his son Bronny James, even though Bronny James averaged less than 5 points a game at USC. Bronny James is not an NBA caliber player. best case scenario, I could see this guy being a poor man's version of Davion Mitchell. You're probably asking me, who the hell is Davion Mitchell? That's a good question, because I guarantee you most casual fans don't know who Davion Mitchell is. Davion Mitchell is basically a bench warmer for the Sacramento Kings. And obviously, if I'm telling you that Bronny James is a poor man's version of Davion Mitchell, that probably means he isn't an NBA caliber player. But either way, though, we'll see how it plays out with LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. It seems like they're going to go ahead and hire JJ Redick. Jay Williams already spilled the beans and said that the Lakers hired JJ Redick as the head coach, even though it has not been officially announced. Obviously, Stephen A. Smith blasting LeBron James was severely flawed, even though I actually agree with the conclusion, because this guy's talking about how black coaches are being stifled. I don't think it has anything to do with race whatsoever. I think Stephen A. Smith is arguing about it from the wrong perspective. What he should have said was that LeBron James started a podcast so he can go ahead and lie to the younger generation about how he is the GOAT while Michael Jordan is an overrated basketball player, and that the way I do things is always the best way to do it. He attacked LeBron James from the wrong angle, but hey, that's Stephen A. Smith for you. That's why I say he's a clown and that he knows very little about the game of basketball. He's nothing more than a puppet at ESPN. And as for LeBron James starting a podcast with JJ Redick, I don't personally have a problem with it. I just wish LeBron James was more upfront and told everybody that he started a podcast with JJ Redick so he can go ahead and lie to the younger generation, because we all know that LeBron James is insecure with his all-time legacy. Obviously, we all know Michael Jordan is the real GOAT in basketball. It's not LeBron James. LeBron James ain't even top 2 in my book. So that is why I do not agree with Stephen A. Smith's take on LeBron James and JJ Redick, as his reasoning was severely flawed. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the @DustinNashTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @DustinNashTran and Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @DustinNashTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel Sports Guy Talking.